Alrighty guys, so now I'm going to tell you about this cool table. So back in 1875, you guys could have seen the President of the United States, Ulysses S. Grant, sitting right here playing poker with Mark Twain, Thomas Edison, Will Tacoma Sherman, and John Mackey. So they were all a part of the Gentlemen's Club. Now, on average, their games would last somewhere between 1 to 3 days without stopping. And they also had a lot of booze. So back then here in Virginia City, we had over 140 saloons on C Street alone. And in fact, we had so many bars back then, we had one for every 38 people. So we had 25,000 residents. That is over 600 bars. But in today's world, we are down to 14 of them. So I guess we don't have a town drunk. We have a drunk town, folks. And then I got more to show you guys.
Hold on. Let me take picture. Where do we go? I'm scared.
We gotta go upstairs.
Now it's time. We're going to upstairs.
We went upstairs.
Just watch your steps one last time here.
What's the word?
Oh, here we go. Then long. There's an upstairs. We're going upstairs, guys. It's a long. That's a lot of steps. This is a third floor. Guys.
Now you're standing in a room that we call Scotty's room. And so, Scotty was a bartender here at the Washoe Club, and he lived in this room for about 11 years. But then, back in 1982, Scotty walked up here one day after his shift. He took a gun, and he killed himself in this room. Now, the reason why he killed himself was because back in 1979, his 16-year-old son Richard was playing just a few miles down the road in Gold Hill. And he was racing his 14-year-old friend Alan on a dirt hill. And on the other side was a 1,200-foot ventilation shaft. Both boys fell in and it killed them instantly. So it pushed poor Scotty over the edge. He was overcome with grief and distraught. He did not get the help he needed. So he walked up to this room on June 22nd, 1982, took a gun, and killed himself in this room. And I want to show you guys this photo that was captured on the tour just a couple years ago. And I believe this could be Scotty. So if you guys look all the way down there where that hallway ends, so that is where this guy would have been captured. Heading in this direction, and it burned down both of those churches outside. Then, John Mackey, one of the richest men in the world at the time, went to the priest and said he would rebuild his church for him. And so that is what it looks like today. And I also want to tell you guys about our most famous ghost here at the Washoe Club. We call her Lena, the Blue Lady. And so Lena used to wear a beautiful blue Victorian dress, and she hung around in this building in the late 1800s. But one night, she was up here with another man, and he slit her throat and killed her. So Lena is still up here to this day, and she has been seen by so many people. And I'm going to show you guys this other photo that was captured. We're going to head this way. Come on.
Hold on, love. Can you hold?
And so the story about this room is the gentleman that lived up here back in 1984 was in the middle of repainting his room. But one day in the middle of his project, there was another man that fell asleep downstairs at the bar with a lit cigarette and started a fire. So then the fire department had to come up here and put the blaze out. Then the fire marshal came up to inspect the building for more damage. He then made it up to the second floor, took one look, and said, "Everyone out of here now. We are condemning this section of the building." So that is how we know 1984 was the last time anyone living occupied this space. And then this door to my left is also known to slam shut all by itself. So this is a solid Victorian wood door, and it does take a lot of force to slam this thing shut. And so it does get pretty windy here in Virginia City, but the wind is not a factor for this door to slam, including vibrations from us walking into this room, or outdoor moving vehicles like bigger trucks. Or if I manually move this door to about here, letting gravity and the angle of this building slowly shut this door, it will not slam no matter what. And as you guys can also see under here, underneath this knob just a little bit, it's chipping our door. And so we've had countless YouTubers, camera crews, and TV shows up here during their overnights, and they filmed the same door slamming shut on them. And I got one more cool thing to show you guys before we head back downstairs. So if you guys are familiar with EVPs, they stand for electronic voice phenomenons, and it's a digital recorder that picks up things that you normally can't hear with the naked ear. And so our former tour guide by the name of Carl, he was doing an EVP session in this room a couple years back. And on this audio recording, you're going to hear him say a lady's voice now. And then right after that, you're going to hear a disembodied voice come through and say, "Shut the door." So, I'm going to play this for you guys really quick.
And we were doing an EVP session, and we got a ghost came through a lady's voice now, and she said...
Heard it?
Oh yeah.
So right after talking about her footsteps and equipment. And then right after that, you're going to hear a disembodied voice come through and say, "Okay." It is the coolest thing ever. And so after that, we have one of our millimeters, our piece of device. You okay? 3, 2, 1. I'll go start for a second.
Are you in front of the door? Can you make that door slam? Great.
And just a friendly reminder, there's a mannequin right here, so in case anyone gets scared. I've had a tour yesterday. They got scared 2 times as they were walking in and walking out.
Yeah, it looked like a real one.
Yeah. And then just make sure you guys hold onto these handrails as you're walking down the stairs, because we've had people get pushed on the tours before. I don't want you guys to get hurt.
Okay.
Hold on to the handrail.
Of course.
So that is where the staircase goes up to, and it's capped off because the barricade, as you can see, is very unstable and dangerous. And so this staircase was built in between 1875 and 1876, and it was also featured in Ripley's Believe It or Not. So from top to bottom, there was nothing supporting it. There are no nails or screws. In fact, the only thing that they used was wooden dowels and glue. So we still cannot figure out how it's still standing to this day. They were trying to get us to take this whole thing apart because it's not safe enough to walk anymore. But the owner said, no, we want to keep it here, but we'll rope it off because this is history.
Yeah.
So we haven't had much activity, but for what we have had, I feel that it could.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens when you construct or
Yeah.
fix up stuff that.
Oh, Ouija board. What are you talking Ouija board?
If you guys look at this first photo here to the right, you can see a blue mist flowing around the barricaded stairs. So that is what we believe to be Nina. That is her form and how she manifests herself to the public. It is always with a blue form or mist. And then, if you guys look at the second picture, you're going to see the features. And so we have a face right up here. Her hair, her 1800s gown, and then her feet at the bottom. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 toes. And then, last but not least, I will take you guys into the back of the crypt.
Okay. It's cold here.
It's cold. That's where they used to store the dead bodies.
Righty guys, welcome back into the crypt. So this is where they stored 77 bodies back in 1874. Now the way they would get the bodies in here is they would bring them around through the front on a gurney. And they would stack them up into a pile in this room. But once that pile became too big, they would have to start throwing them off of the wood structure that we were standing on top of earlier. And for years, they would have to use candles as a light source because electricity did not exist yet. But once you threw the bodies off, it would cause your candle lights to go out. So then you would be stuck piling the dead in a dark room, and we did not have those lights next door either, making it even darker. And you guys can also notice how it's a little cold in this room too. And so the reason behind that is because this brick wall to my left is the back of the Washoe Club building. And then this rock wall to my right is the hillside. So technically we are standing 3 stories underground. And then if you guys look straight above you with the wood ceiling, that is Scotty's room. So that gives you guys an idea of how high you are on the 3rd floor. And I cannot tell you guys how many times we hear Scotty walking back and forth upstairs. There is nobody up there. And then I'm going to show you guys one last photo. So this would have been, if you guys see, 1 second, wherever it manifested, it was right between the floor and the support beams. And this is our ghost.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
boy.
it's one of the little little kids they stored in here back in 1874. But that's the one.
Scary.
And then with that being said, my friends, that is the end of the Washoe Club tour. I hope you guys had a lot of fun learning more about the history here. And your tickets get you $1 off. Stay warm out there. Yes. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Of course. Yeah.
Dad, you want to
I like to stand there.
No, this is scary. We have Mama come with me.
No, I don't want to go. So weird.
Why am I up here?
Look at the chicken.
Yep, we are done. We are done. We are done.
All right.
is the old building of Washoe, Old Washoe Club.